let me ask you this. Why are you doing that to yourself? Because we're young, we want to just chill. Like, I mean, I don't know. As a young person, I feel like you should kind of sit back and enjoy your life a little bit. Why are you busy all the time? And are you happy that way? So are you happy just constantly having something to do, and mostly for somebody else as well, training somebody, making the video. I mean, I'm sure you're doing it for yourself, like, with these episodes and stuff, but you're not doing it by yourself. You're doing it for somebody else as well. Are you happy with that? And why do you do that?
Man, first of all, Voltaire says, judge a man based off his questions and not his answers. And those are some genius questions right there.
Thank you.
Goodness.
I appreciate that.
Nice. You can't be like, I can't preach good shit to people and I can't preach healthy living to people unless I, in one way, shape, or form, am embodying it. Exactly. Pun intended.
Intended. So me, by the time I started seriously working out when I was 19 with you, I didn't give a fuck what anybody thought. Because how could I care about what anybody thought at that point? And my problem is I didn't care about myself. I truly was just like, I felt like I was served shit in the steak with the slow metabolism and didn't want to be accountable for the fact that I was lazy and I didn't want to make the right choices. I wanted the easy way out with everything. You really do have to love yourself. You got to care about what you think about yourself. It doesn't matter. Forget that, but if you can't look yourself in the mirror and be happy like with that for anything, then that's step one.
When it comes to self-loving yourself, is being able to look in the mirror and be confident, at least in who is looking back at you. Now, that confidence doesn't mean you have to see 20-inch arms and a six-pack and all this perceivable external quote unquote great things. You just have to be confident knowing that, okay, what I see in the mirror is a person who is trying their best day in and day out, and they're doing everything they can to make the people around them better. And if you can look in the mirror and say that to yourself,
if you can say yes to both of those,
then you're on your way.
That's a great start.
The first step to solving any problem is acknowledging there's a problem.
Yeah.
It's acknowledging that I'm in this position I'm currently in because I'm in control of my life.
And I think that's it's the choice. Like we always bring it back to, you're always choosing, but it's like, no, this could have happened, or, I got a rough go of it, or you're just running away from.
You're running away from the accountability.
You're running away from the accountability because it all comes down to you. Right. Everything comes down to you.
And you helped me with that. You did. I feel like you're a big part of the success I had, because you pointed me in the direction of where I needed to go. And then I was like, okay, if I just do the things he's saying and then put in my own stuff,
Putting your own flavor into it. And what ended up happening? You start getting, remember after like a week, they started posting about you on the Facebook group?
Yeah, that was a crazy feeling too. I don't know. Like it was just weird. Like I would actually have an effect on how good people's day was. Like they would see me and just light up like, oh yeah, he's working. Cool.
Ain't that crazy?
Like, damn. Like,
When's Alfonso working?
Yeah.
Whenever you have something valuable to offer to someone else and you're able to fulfill that, you get, it's like an internal sense of fulfillment, even though you're offering your services to other people.
Right.
But you can't really have something quality to offer if you're not in tune with yourself to the level of degree that it requires. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. It's like when you can allocate certain, let's just say, actual applicable things in your life to start getting to know yourself better, you can dispense and give out that same stuff that helped you to other people. And that's that sort of service you're talking about, that selfless service. And it's an ironic concept. And I wrote about it in that book, bro. Like it's an ironic concept that, like I said, the ancient people understood is you have to first be selfish before you can become selfless. You have to first selfishly get to know yourself, but not weeding into, like you said, the toxic arrogance of getting to know yourself, of getting to love yourself. But you need to get to know yourself and solidify that knowledge of self before you can extend your hand to start actually serving others to the best ability that you could serve others.
Oh shit, man. That's amazing. Shout out to Justin, bro. Real ass nigga. He's dope as fuck. He's like, low key,
he just doesn't even know if I ain't even told us shit, but like he was like dumbass inspirational for me in terms of like my fucking like kind of transition into like thinking that I could actually be a good football player. Cause like I saw him and like no offense to him, but like
But
he
the
just,
short little
he was
motherfucker,
small, like
but
kind of
like
strong.
but going like a bullet,
Bruh.
hitting people.
Bruh, he would fucking smack the shit out of motherfuckers. And like every single week in film, like the coaches barely ever talked to him about anything. Like he was always on his shit. And I was just so impressed by that. And like I could recognize like the amount of work he put in terms of like film study and like learning the defense and learning how to play safety. Like I legit imitated my entire game off of him. It's like I have these things that I cannot control that are weaknesses of mine, like my fucking genetics, my height, my whatever, my weight, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Things you can't control, right?
Yeah, but regardless of that shit, I'm going to maximize everything
I
else
got.
that I can
Right.
control and fucking be the best goddamn player I can fucking be, bro.
Which is the controlling what you can and accepting what you can't.
The greatest positive that came out of my relationship was the fact that I can now reflect on it, get better, and be a better second half.
Especially going forward for the next potential partner.
Exactly, that's what I mean. Yeah,
Because it's only going to imagine how worthy you'll feel. We have a more natural urge to be able to look at it objectively,
Right.
be able to look at both sides, not just the good or the bad.
and they take our projectiveness, like the way we speak and stuff, and they're like,
But again, that falls into our inconsideration of how it's being said, which
100%.
is something we can work on, right?
which we, yeah,
and then
absolutely.
reflecting on that as being a potential catalyst to the problems in a past relationship, you can be more wary of that going forward in a potential new relationship. And in being mindful of those things that you are now culpable of, accepting your accountability of, you are going to allow yourself to feel more worthy of finding that potential partner. Not only will you feel more worthy in finding that potential partner, you will quite literally open up the doors for those partners to reveal themselves to you because you won't waste time
Oh, man.
on unworthy suitors. You will communicate those things early on in the relationship to weed out the ones that are worthy and not.
scything them bitches.
Scything it.
Yeah,
No, how to weed them out.
There's a lot of people out there who just, when trauma hits them, they're done. They're out for the count.
Tap out.
Done. Through individuals like us doing all this inner work, all this physical work, us constantly pushing ourselves, we, I'm sure, have the ability now, if something were to go wrong in our life, in our path, we wouldn't be down for the count. There's some people out there who literally would just be done.
And you can understand why, though. Right. Because most people don't face enough daily adversity, meaning they also don't conquer enough daily adversity, which means they don't build the confidence for when adversity hits them to overcome it.
Right.
And because you force yourself to feel the adversity, because you guys both force yourselves to feel the adversity of fitness, feel the adversity of your job and always trying to be a little bit better, feeling the adversity of coming in here and getting your leg kicked off, feeling the adversity in whatever way, shape, or form it is adversity that allows you to then see yourself overcome such adversity.
100%.
And through that overcoming, do you build the confidence to then face even bigger adversity if and when it comes? Otherwise, it can then manifest into trauma.
Right.
That's why I always recommend the gym.
When you was talking about the fitness on the video, the outro, the way the outro, like
Yeah, it was perfect, bro.
it inspired so many people though.
Dude, I was telling him, I'm like, bro, the way that it ended was so clean. It was so fucking clean.
So the way it ended was you kind of talking about the necessity for having fitness as a staple in your life so you can build that confidence to overcome adversity.
Bro, like if you're depressed, you're down, you're rock bottom. You start hitting the gym, you're already 1 foot out of depression easily. 1 foot out of depression, bro. You just see yourself in the mirror, you start feeling better. It's just, and you get that boost to overcome.
It's not an
what you're
overnight
going through.
thing though.
It's
either.
not.
Right.
That's what it is. Like you gotta be consistent with it.
I think people get caught up because of 2021, the instant gratification of the internet and everything else. People get caught up in the instant results. They want to get the 6-pack shortcut now. They want it now.
Mm-hmm.
Through microcosmic, through smaller overcoming of adversity, can you start delaying that gratification and understanding the journey is what matters, not that end goal, not that 6-pack, not that 225 bench or whatever it is. It's the journey getting to that point.
Just reflect a little bit about over your week and like just think about what you did. what did you do? Did you spend all 16 hours of your waking hours studying for school? Like, hell no.
Right.
You know what I mean? Did you spend, not necessarily this guy, Andy, but whoever out there that wants to, you know, make changes in their nutrition and like learn some skills in the kitchen or whatever. It's like, what are you doing in a day?
Right.
I guarantee most of you guys out there are like caught up on the latest season of XYZ.
There's wasted time that can be fulfilled for optimization for sure.
Wasted. But yeah, that's another thing. Just reflect, be honest with yourself.
Be honest with yourself.
Yeah, understand, you know what I mean? If you want to make this priority, make it a damn priority. Don't just say it.
Do it.
Yeah. Just do it.
It still triggers me.
But
Like,
you can, okay, here to answer your question. You can never be nullified or rid of that trauma. You can only grow. If it's a glass jar, think of it as a glass jar. The marble doesn't get any bigger or smaller. You can't diminish the size of the trauma, let's say. So you grow your ability to see past and around the trauma through life experiences, through growing yourself, through self-development, through optimizing yourself overall, both mentally and physically, to where the trauma is just a small bead in an expanse of growth.
But it's almost like it's easy to indulge in it because I did it so often. You know
Right,
what I mean?
that's again, the more you grow and address. So what I was telling you, you asking how how I am able to find therapy. I literally address the trauma every day when I explain it to 10 different people. So I'm literally getting multiple iterations of the reconciliation of the trauma, which allows me to further be okay with it, which grows the overall expanse of wisdom whenever compared to that small moment of traumatic experience. Just the expanse in which that trauma lives quite literally grows, which diminishes the overall volume of that trauma fundamentally in comparison to scale with that environment. So you just have to endure multiple iterations of coming to terms with and acknowledging that trauma, which we do in here. Every time we talk about all the self-help stuff in here. And it's about finding multiple outlets in your life where you can do that consistently enough where you grow that expanse of growth and overall diminish the relative size of that trauma in your life.
I will say self-sustained training, I truly believe, will blow up in the near future eventually. Don't know when, I'm not going to say, but I think the content you're putting out, it'll definitely be reached to the masses. It's just a matter of when, not if, but when.
And if it doesn't, I'm happy and content with it helping one person like you, one person like Trey. The multiple messages I get from people every time I post a video, whether it's seen by 100 people or 100,000 people, it being able to cause any sort of positive shift in another person's mind is quite literally all I care about.
Impact. That's one of the things that when I first started actually officially releasing music, the very first song I ever dropped was titled Impact, because I want to make an impact.
Nice, man.
And just being able to, and realizing and understanding that what you're doing or what you're saying, the movements, the things you say, the things you do, they do have an effect on people, whether you realize it or not.
That's what I'm saying. We go into history and all sorts of shit. But when the agricultural revolution happened 10,000 years ago, humans went from hunting and gathering, throwing spears at animals, having to collect berries and shit, to planting their food in one setting, being able to chill all day, let that food grow, take care of that food, harvest it, and then have that food to eat. Yeah. So when you had that food in surplus, most of that food was carb-based, so it allowed them to sustain energy over extended period of time, where before, they used to have to go find their food every single day.
Nigga,
go get it.
Now we on DoorDash. I'm not leaving the crib, bro. I don't have to leave my crib to get anything.
Because the conveniency factor. And that conveniency factor is the same reason they go to that McDonald's.
That's true.
It's the same reason they go to get Chipotle. But again, being optimal isn't convenient. You know what I'm saying?
It's not.
Being your best self isn't convenient. That's something that takes day-to-day trial and error and the willingness to fail, which is the error aspect of it.
Getting out of your comfort zone.
Getting out of your comfort zone. And how uncomfortable is it tracking your macronutrients?
It's shitty.
Meal prepping your food. Making sure that...
Weighing shit out.
Making
it's
sure
shit you don't want to do.
You just got to try your best. You just got to never give up, bro. I promise you, it's going to work out. It might not happen in 1 year. It might not happen in 50 years. but it can work out, bruh. J.K. Rowling didn't write Harry Potter until she was like fucking 60, bruh.
She's I think like 40.
Okay, whatever. She ain't pop off till later in life, bro. Like, this shit didn't work out for her in the beginning. Like, she tried hard,
Right.
bro. Like,
Walt Disney's like 40 also.
exactly,
right?
bro.
Oprah
It's
was
like, life. That's also something I had to realize too. Life is not a
But
fucking race.
this is all I want to say though. I don't mean to interject, but this
Go
is
ahead.
what I want to
Go
say.
ahead.
All this passion, all this newfound wisdom, you have to realize, and you just started articulating it, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Exactly, bro.
That it's not an overnight process.
Exactly,
that
bro.
it's going to come through the journey. It's just hard in the 21st century when you have TikTok and you have Vine back in the day and you got Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. It's so easy to get caught up in the
gratification,
instant
bro.
gratification of
Fucking bullshit.
especially a lot of people who don't live in a free Western world that presents that opportunity and that freedom every single second of every single day.
Let me ask you this. I have another question.
Okay, nice.
Do you expect anything in return from you helping other people?
No.
Why is that? Like,
There's a-
do you expect to feel happy from helping
No.
somebody?
I don't expect nothing in
You don't
life.
expect shit.
There's an old Vedic scripture that I don't know if it was Vishnu talking or who it was, but there's an
Yeah.
old Vedic scripture that says you're entitled to the labor, not necessarily the fruits of your labor, which means, and it kind of plays off of what you said, it's not about what you want, you get what you deserve. And that's the thing, is like you get what you deserve. And if you deserve everything and you get it, it's like you deserve that.
Yeah.
My thing is though, you shouldn't want that of what you deserve. You shouldn't expect that of what you deserve. And that's what this Hindu proverb states is you're entitled to the work. You're not entitled to the fruits of the work.
Yeah.
So if you're entitled to the work and not the fruits of the work, it means you don't expect to reap anything. You're just about the grind. And if you get what you deserve, you're quite literally just content and cool with whatever it is you do get from the grind because you weren't expecting anything in the first place.
Absolutely. I get that.
So yeah, I don't expect anything.
Do you-
My bad, go ahead.
I was going to ask, do you learn a lot from the students?
So all I expect, let's say, is what I know I'm going to get, which is, let's say you have 2 + 2 = question mark. I mean, you can say you expect 4 is the answer, but you know 4 is the answer. When you experience certain things, especially, let's say, teaching somebody and seeing them grow explicitly, like seeing them in a fighting stance and then seeing them in an advanced fighting stance, like seeing that explicit growth, can only give me fulfillment and purpose and happiness. That makes sense?
Bro, as a teacher,
Right.
as an elementary school teacher, I'm like, I see someone I see them writing something like a word they misspelled, and like I worked on it with them, explaining the word how it's spelled. It's like I get it. It's kind of English is tricky, whatever. And they're just like writing that word, and I'm like sweating and stuff over them, and I see them write it correctly. I'm like, let's go! Like I won the finals right there, and it's just seeing them grow. Is why, you know what I'm saying? Like that means more to me, and I hate like sometimes it sounds selfish, but like that means more to me than like helping them is just seeing somebody grow.
It means more to me. I tell all my clients this. Your growth to me means more than any dollar amount that you could put on the paycheck you're paying me to teach you.
Absolutely.
I care more about the essence and principles of what I see in your optimization than I do in what little monetary compensation you could give me.
Absolutely. And that's what makes us good teachers.
Bro, that's what makes you a good teacher, is asking genius questions.
I got a good question.
Nice.
Do you feel almost obligated to help people? When I say this, do you feel like you have this some type of special lens where you see the right thing regardless, so you have to do that?
I wouldn't say that I see the right thing. I think
my bad. Not that's. I didn't mean to word it like that. Right. More so like you know the right thing, like you know, like in your soul, like to feel better almost.
Right. So I get the gist of what you're saying. I just don't want to word it in such a way where I or anybody who is giving advice or is lending that hand is wholly dependable on their word. Like I don't want you to think like. I feel as though because I'm so comfortable in my skin at this point in my life, and I've experienced enough things to substantiate the growth that I've incurred, especially in these past 5-6 years, I don't necessarily feel obligated, but I gain an immense amount of pleasure and joy anytime the opportunity, pun intended, lends itself. Anytime I have the opportunity to help somebody out, it's literally like finding back in the day a king size Snickers bar whenever you're going trick or treating at that random house, and it's like they're giving us king size Snickers bars. You know what I'm
You
saying?
gotta go tell everybody else.
You got to tell everybody else. It's that legit. It's that when the opportunity presents itself, I literally look at it as like a treasure chest. It's like, oh my goodness,
I can help you.
I can help you. You have no idea like what you're about to learn right now.
Yeah.
And again, that's where it kind of gets weird into the wording of it. It's like what you're about to learn right now, I can help you. I can't necessarily help them, nor can I necessarily teach them. That's where the lending of the hand only reaches so far, because at some point they have to meet you
Yeah, in the middle.
somewhat in the middle. You can only lead the horse to water. Can't make it drink.
Yeah, facts.